Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about the Pokémon Sword and Shield expansion pass and whether or not I think it's going to be good, and I think currently that is a very hard question to answer. Now when I'm recording this video we don't really know much about this expansion pass. Now of course we have heard about it in January and we heard that it's going to have more content, more Pokémon's coming back, that sort of thing, but apart from that thing we had in March, there's not really a lot that we've heard from. In March, all we heard was that the three starters are getting Gigantamax versions, which, okay, that's fine, you know, a nice added versions of your starters. You know, they're going to be able to be big now, and they've got extra moves. I believe one of them has, like, I think it's Inteleon, the one where he can, like, have a sniper and he can kill things, and then I don't know, just it seems fun that they're adding, you know, more bigger versions of the starters, a Gigantamax version of the starters, and that's fine. That seems to be okay. And also, it's been revealed is that the Isle of Armor, at least, is gonna have this separate, like, dungeon training sort of place where we're able to train and get this panda Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, this seems fine. It seems like a normal gym or an Elite Four or something like that. It seems very similar to what we've seen Pokemon do before. And I think the question is, what's on everyone's mind currently is, how long is that going to be? How long is that little stadium, or how long is that little adventure that we have with that Pokemon trainer? I believe his name was Mustard, which is really weird, but how long is that going to be? And I think that's going to be the big bulk of content here. Now, you got to think, obviously, this DLC and expansion pass, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be £26, so let's just say best part of £30. You know, are we really going to get our money's worth here? And that's a hard question to answer because they haven't really revealed much. Of course, you know, that expansion pass that we're going to get for the Isle of Armor with the training with Mustard could be as long as 10, 15, 20 hours long, but it could be as short as one gym, which is very concerning to me. You know, I don't know how long that's going to be. It just seems to be we're training with this guy. Is there going to be some post-game story style stuff to it? Is it going to go on for a while? We don't really know, and I hope it does. I would imagine it would go on for a decent amount of time. Of course, you know, the expansion pass also includes the Tundra. I think in November that's coming out, so we are getting some more content later down the line. So you know, maybe if we only get like 10 hours of content now, then maybe down the road in November, then we'll maybe get another 10 hours. That'll make it worth it. I don't know. They are seeming to slowly drip out these releases, you know, give it to us in stages, which is fine. But I think personally for this Pokemon DLC, I think that they should have maybe released the two expansion passes which are in the DLC, the ones that are within that one DLC. I think they should have released it separately for £12, £12.99. I feel like that would have been a very just cost effective, and I think a lot of people would be less annoyed with this DLC because it would seem cheaper. It wouldn't be, but it would just seem it. You know, it wouldn't be £30 or, you know, $30 or whatever it's going to be. It would just be £12 and £12. You know, it just makes sense. So I feel like the Isle of Armor should have been that. Personally, I'd have preferred that. I mean, I prefer buying my games in stages that way. You know, with the Fighters Pass, I never buy the Fighter Pass. I buy each character at a time. I prefer to buy them in £5 chunks. I don't know if anybody else is like that with DLC, but I just prefer to do it that way. And I feel like that would have been probably a smarter decision. Of course, they've announced they're bringing back more Pokemon, which a lot of people have liked. I'm not sure how much is actually like missing from the game. I believe it was like 200 Pokemon are still not in the game, which, you know, that's a big number, but it's not too bad. And I could be wrong about that, I don't know, but they are definitely adding more Pokemon, and it'll be easier to get them through the DLC. Now, they have said you can trade them and get them anyway. Like, if your mate's got them, they can trade it to you, you get in the Pokédex. If they got any duplicates, they can trade it to you, and you can get them without the DLC, but you won't be able to find them because the Isle of Armor is its own separate wild area, which is nice. You know, we're also getting that too, getting a wild area. So ultimately, from what I'm aware of, we've got the dungeon with Mustard, the training thing, the gym. We've got a new wild area, new Pokemon, and Gigantamax versions of the current starters. And I think there's also some like costumes and stuff, which is fine. And I think, you know, $8.99, I would want to pay for that. Maybe £12 at most. And, you know, that's why I'm currently okay with the £30 price tag, because, you know, let's just say are 30 quid, it's going to be 15 each. That's not too similar to £12. I don't mind paying the 30 quid, but my only concern is, you know, how long's the Isle of Armor going to be? How long's the Tundra going to be in November? And of course, we don't know any of this. We don't know anything about this. We don't know when it's coming out. We're just saying by the end of June, which is another concern of mine. But we'll get onto that in a minute. But I really hope that this DLC or the first DLC really does feature a lot of content, because if it doesn't, then there's going to be a lot of backlash. Not necessarily from me, but I just feel like as a community, there's going to be a lot of people angry if this doesn't feel worth the money. A lot of people are saying that Sword and Shield didn't really have a post-game. I wouldn't know about that. I mean, I'm a fan of Pokemon, but I'm not a huge fan. I'm pretty casual when it comes to Pokemon. I only know pretty much all of Gen 1 and a couple other ones out there. I'm not a big Pokemon guy, and I'll be honest, and there's probably stuff in this video that I have got wrong. I'll be completely honest and open with that, but what I do hope is I'm still a person that's going to put down £30. I hope my £30 is worth it, and from what I've seen so far, I'm not sure if it will be. I'm 50-50 either way. I'm hoping it obviously is worth the money, but it might not be at the same time. It all depends on what actually comes out, and maybe we'll find out more information, Of course, we did have in January that Pokemon Direct, which essentially showed off a load of PNGs, a load of pictures of stuff they've got planned. So stuff is being planned and concept art is being made. I have no doubts that stuff is being made at Game Freak, but in terms of things we've got shown off in-game, the content hasn't been loads just yet, So I'm just trying to compare this to the Breath of the Wild DLC Season Pass. That was like 17, so that's just more than half of this, and that had a lot of content in it. I had like different waves of content and stuff was in it. I had like extra story and post game and stuff, and the Zelda one was worth it, and that was cheaper than this. So I don't know. I'm just hoping for more information. And my final concern about this is that it might not hit its release date. Of course, obviously with what's going on in the world and that sort of thing, we don't know if it'll hit its release date or not. We don't know how long Game Freak has been working on this, but just taking into account what happened in January when we got things shown off then, it seemed like they were just starting work and development on it. To me, I like to think that they stopped working on Sword and Shield, and when those games came out, when they maybe released a patch or two from, I'm not sure if they did or not, I think they released a couple of patches. Once they finished with those patches, they started straight on the DLC, or at least that's how I would do it personally. I wouldn't have made the DLC, then cut it out of the game, I hope that they started the DLC. So, hypothetically, this could have been, or at least the Isle of Armor at least, could have been in development from mid-November, because, the Pokemon games came out on the 15th of November, which is right in the middle. So, I'd imagine, this has had some time to, air quotations, be sitting in the oven and preparing and being ready. So, it's had, 6 months is in June, 7, 8, so yes, 8 months it's had to get ready. So, is that enough time for Game Freak? I don't know. That's 4 months off a year. Does it really take a year to do one expansion? I'm not sure. So, I mean, it could hit its June release date, but of course, with everything going on in the world, unfortunately, Pokemon might not have been able to get that release date. We don't know what's happening with Game Freak. I haven't heard any stories that they've shut down or anything, but, as the world's being affected, Game Freak could have been affected. We don't know. I don't know if they're going to release that information. I don't know if we'll ever know, but I don't know. It could have possibly happened. And, if Game Freak needed to shut, that's fine. I understand that. I'm not saying, Game Freak needs to make my game. That's the last thing I'm saying. If Pokemon Company or Nintendo or Game Freak or any company that isn't essential needs to close, then that's fair enough. That needs to happen, regardless of what they're making if it's non-essential. So, all I'm saying is we don't know what's going on. We don't know if they have shut. They haven't said they have. And the late March Direct still said June. So we have no indication that it's not going to hit its June release date. Of course, you've got to think from like January to March is only 2 months. And those 2 months they was able to show us more gameplay and a lot more content. So, yeah, I would imagine that from March, a couple more months to June, we should be okay. But, of course, with any sort of release at this point, there is that idea of, has everything affected this? Are people still being able to work, or have they had to close? Or you don't know. And of course, I think the Smash Bros development team is working from home right now. I'm not really sure on that one. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, we don't know about this DLC. I am excited for it. I'm ready to go. I've got the money. I'm ready to buy it. I'm just sort of holding off to see what the Pokemon gurus, as you could say, the people that know everything about Pokemon, are really going to say about this, because I just don't want to. I don't want to buy this DLC knowing what we've seen so far and maybe it being a letdown. I just want to wait to see what they think and see if it's worth the money. Of course, it'll be worth the money probably to some people, but I want to see what the general public opinion is of this DLC before I buy it, because I'm a little bit skeptical, but at the same time, you know, if this DLC is reviewed incredibly well and it's full of content and great, you know, I'm probably going to get it. And there'll be people out there, you know, saying the same thing as I said before, where, you know, this should have been in the game from the beginning, this should have been the post-game, but we can't change that now. I'm looking at this expansion pass as a new Pokemon experience. What would have been Pokemon Ultra Sword, Ultra Shield, which, you know, a lot of people would have bought anyway, maybe including myself, but, you know, I'm just waiting to see what the reviews are now, and I'm genuinely torn on whether or not this will be good. You know, well, my main concern is, you know, is the content going to be there? Is it going to be worth the money? And, you know, if it's a thing, it doesn't release in June, that's perfectly okay with me. I can wait, you know, whenever this needs to release. We can all wait for games to release. Games aren't essential. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that this expansion pass will be releasing in June? Do you think that it's going to be full of content? How long do you think the content's going to be? Are you excited for this? Are you getting it? Or are you not getting it? Or what's your thoughts? Just let me know all your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you so much for watching.